Man, hi. It's the Bulletinman joining you on Monday, March 15th, 2010. Today is the Ides of March. I think it's the day when Brutus killed Caesar, and thus the term "Beware the Ides of March." It's a Shakespearean play, is where that all came from. But that is what today is. Hope you had a great one. Bulletinman is as nervous as a prostitute in church. I'm telling you what. Be praying for me, folks. Today, I filed a criminal complaint against a guy named Aaron Harvey, who is with the Jefferson County Methamphetamine Task Force. And on August 8th or August 28th, or back in '08, I think it was August 25th of 2008, him and his buddies went out to Branch Road and raided, quote unquote, a mobile home and found something like 65 grams of methamphetamine. I maintain and allege that Mr. Harvey and others put that methamphetamine there. And the reason why they would do that is so they could get paid from the federal government, because every time they bust a meth lab, there's federal money involved. I've heard from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000, but we know they are getting paid. Now, in doing a little research on this matter, I've run across a few facts, and every attorney in the state of Missouri who is making a living, they know these facts. They are stealing from you and a lot of other people out there. There's a legal concept in our jurisprudence which is called corpus delicti, the body of the crime. Why has Amanda Jones's killer not been brought to trial? Well, there is no body, so Miss Jones theoretically could show up at any time. Never mind method, motive, means, opportunity, all the circumstantial evidence you'd ever need. So that is why Mr. Brian Westfall, who works at Jefferson College, still walks the streets a free man, even though everybody and their brother knows what happened to Amanda Jones and the little baby. I maintain the baby's probably still alive. But in this matter with Jill Griffin is her name, and she has a case in the morning for set on a possession charge, which they set her up on as well. But she is currently being held right now on a $7,000 cash-only bond. I have entered into that case as a friend of the court. It's called amicus curiae. And anyone with a legal standing and a citizen of the state of Missouri can do so on any legal case. It is entered into the brief, into the court record, and the judge doesn't have to look at it. He can totally ignore it, but it's there. I have stamp file copies of that on both of her cases, and I also have a stamp file copy of the criminal complaint against Mr. Harvey. Now, folks, I love this country. I love what it stood for the last 230 years. I love America. You know, it's the greatest country on the face of the earth. Land of the free and home of the brave. Well, unfortunately, what's happened in the last 20 or 30 years, it has become land of the fee and home of the slave. I've always maintained the Constitution has been suspended, and we will know for sure about 10 o'clock in the morning whether or not my assertion that the Constitution in the state of Missouri has indeed been suspended, that we are now in a state of emergency, and this is unannounced and undeclared. But if Miss Griffin does not walk free out of the courthouse tomorrow about 10 o'clock, well, then we will know what's up. We will know that indeed the Constitution has been suspended, that in order for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. Well, in that case, in Jill's case, the only victim of this crime has been her and her boyfriend Tommy. The only people suffering loss or harm are them, and they spent $7,000 on attorney's fees. And you know what? I didn't make it very far through law school, but I knew this much. I do know how to read, and within 15 or 20 minutes, I found out all about the standing. Now, it's there. It's plain as day. And I ask you this evening to pray for two bad actors, Forrest Weggie and Nathan Stewart. Because if they don't drop the charges against Miss Griffin, what's going to happen is that I'm going to go down to the courthouse every day and sit outside with my little lawn chair and my bullhorn, and I'm going to pass out flyers and pamphlets explaining what this whole process is about, what the term standing is, and that in order to have a crime you have to have a victim. You can't charge somebody with arson unless someone's burnt down a house. You can't charge somebody with murder unless there's a body, unless you have enough circumstantial evidence. But in these matters, every methamphetamine case, every drunk driving case, every marijuana case, every case that the only victim is the so-called state, but the whole point and purpose of our government is not to enrich themselves, it is to protect our God-given individual rights. And if God gave them, then that means God can only take them, not the state of Missouri. So the gauntlet has been thrown down, and I'm here to tell you folks here in Hellsboro at the 23rd Circus Court that your day's come. It's coming. You've been warned. I'm not one for violence. I'm not going to harm you in any matter if you work there at the courthouse. I'm not going to blow the courthouse up. But we are going to convene our own court, and we're going to swear out warrants and summons and subpoenas, and we're going to convene our own grand jury. Now, I have given the state of Missouri the opportunity to do that in this filing I made today, so that we have 45 days from today, which, by the way, is May 1st. That'll be our little May Day. So I love you, and I appreciate just tuning in. And I ask you to tell a friend about the one and only Bulletinman if you would. But like I said, to all my friends in Hellsboro is what it has become. You need to be on your knees praying tonight, because justice is coming right around the corner. The just us days are over, and we will know tomorrow, like I said, about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whether or not the Constitution has been suspended in the state of Missouri. Once I know for a fact, then we will act accordingly. So God bless you, and I appreciate you stopping in. And as always, please